Hello everybody, this is Dan from the Fundamentals with another unboxing, this time of Paris, New Eden from our friends at Matagot, the French company with an appropriately French game. This is a game where you are going to Gay Paris, except instead of the City of Lights and romance and art, it is a post-apocalyptic wasteland. But fear not, because you can make the wasteland bloom again with the help of a geek. With the help of your fellow survivors and I guess ex-French people. I don't know if you're still. I guess maybe they still have the French attitude, even though France is technically gone. But 2 to 4 players. This is something that they showed me at Gen Con, and I'm really excited to get my hands on it now. It's a beautifully illustrated game. But let's see what the inside holds. So, much like Karen, it has a massive booklet. This is the version that is in France, and English and Dutch. But English, this is America. The version I'll be using, designed by Ludovic Maublanc and Florian Granier, art by Agnes Repoche. A beautiful art it is. An unthinkable catastrophe has ravaged Europe. The main infrastructure of Paris has been destroyed. In a few weeks, the city is covered in strange, lush vegetation. The survivors of the apocalypse must reunite, roll up their sleeves to rebuild civilization in this new Eden. They only have 3 more days before they run out of their supply of wine and cheese, and if they don't get it enough, all of them will perish because they are French. Anyway, pretty straightforward. Map very big, easy to read, glossy. I really like the trend to have these really huge ones because, A, you can fit a lot of information into it with less paper. And B, it makes it easier to make it accessible, lots of big chunky symbols. And also, you can use it to hide behind if you're losing, so that's fun. I also like that these European companies include multiple things. So the way the game works is we will get to these in a second. Oh, big board. You have workers, and they are represented by these dice. It's a dice placement, tile placement game. You have these tiles, and they represent, oh god, oh lord, oh we're losing it. They represent different parts of the different workers you can use. You have, on each you have the tinkerers, you have brawlers, you have healers, you gotta have healers, kind of a priesty looking dude. You have sages, who I assume are very good with herbs and spices. You have farmers, and like any proper apocalyptic world, you have random cool delinquents. Yeah, tunnel snakes rule. Yeah, you have Butch from the tunnel snakes who can show up and basically can do anything they want, because they're the tunnel snakes. They rule. But yeah, so you have these, and you roll them, and you get different people each time. You place them around in order to build new buildings, expand your sort of your realm, and you're all sort of competing to have dominance over the new Eden. So you're kind of rebuilt. It's kind of a cooperation thing. There's also in the game some fun little wooden pieces you can see here, which represent let's see. Those are your cubes, disc, and player. These represent different characters. Each of the players gets a different color that corresponds with their play map. You also have here tokens that correspond to each of them. You can see you have the farmers and the healers, tinkerers, sages, yeah, and then all the different resources: food, bullets, medicine, what is that, books, something like that, knowledge, and obviously lots and lots of food. Yeah, you can see on the back, this is sages, and then those guys are the cool guys. And these are, it happens over the course of seasons. There's also the binoculars token right there, which gives you extra points, and the bat token, which lets you get buildings. And there's also the heroine. Oh dear. You also are building, I should have mentioned this. You're building these landmarks, in addition to normal buildings, you're building these landmarks of around Paris. So you have the, I believe that's the Hotel des Tuileries, maybe? That is the Louvre pyramid. That's that one ugly thing that all the Paris people got mad about the other museum. And the Arc de Triomphe. Of course, the Eiffel Tower, all that stuff you can build. There's also the heroine, pop her out, who is a sort of unique character, who is the Jennifer Lawrence of this game, where she kind of operates on her own and does a lot of heroic stuff like you would in any post-apocalyptic game. So it's kind of a pastiche of that kind of thing. The board is gorgeous. It's hard to show in full, but the board is gorgeous. So you can see it's got all the destroyed bits of, there's the Notre Dame, which in hindsight is a little bit in bad taste, but there's the Pont Neuf, and a train station, and of course the Eiffel Tower herself. And that's the game. It's basically a game of put the heroine in her spot. I love the, if you can see with the insert, it has everything indented and carved out, so you know exactly where to put everything. Different tiles and all that kind of stuff. But it's set across different seasons, sort of like a lot of games are actually going with a seasonal kind of feel. But it's especially important because obviously when you're doing things in the winter time, it's harder to have food, and maybe you can't work as hard. So you guys are playing around that, and the game ends when you've been through, I believe, 8 years worth of seasons. But where did these go? Yeah. There we go. And then it fits all on top. So we'll have a full review of this, obviously, as soon as I get a chance to play it a few times. I'll have a link down below to where you can pick it up from Studio Matagot or Amazon. I know it's out in Europe. I'll have to double check if it's out in the US. And then it runs for about $55. If you order it from overseas, if it's not out in the US, it'll be more expensive because of shipping. But I will still review this, and definitely keep an eye out because it's a really, really neat game. And until then, happy gaming.